Oh, you got another rhombus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get rhombus.
Rhombus.
Ooh, you're lucky when you get a hexagon.
Oh, that is so cool.
I know, whenever she said she wanted yellow, she got yellow. How?
That's amazing. She's got magical powers.
See, you're spin that I saw you. This is fun. This is just not.
It's fun. That's exactly
Perfect.
I did it.
Yay. How many does it take, buddy? 3. Yeah. Lego square.
I love it. Look at these awesome shape builders. Woohoo! Okay, now let's make a rectangle. Remember, rectangles have 2 short sides.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Sporting my doo-doo today. You know how it never, ever turns out the same way as your hairdresser. I'm going to insert a picture of what it looked like last night after she did it right here. You can compare that picture to this. They're not exactly the same. Yeah, because I went, I don't have time to recreate that. I'm not that good at it yet. So maybe over the weekend I'll play with it. We'll see. So anyway, hello. My kids are in music class right now. We had a blast with math today. Ooh, they had a great old time. Anytime you can get out the pattern blocks, they're all like, pattern blocks. They were so excited. So they got to see how smaller 2D shapes could fill larger 2D shapes to make that shape. So we were making composite shapes. So for example, 2 triangles would make a rhombus. 6 triangles would make a hexagon. And then 3 rhombus would make a hexagon. I am having the hardest time ever getting my friends to not call a rhombus a diamond. Oh, that is so hard. I said, no. So I even wrote on the board, hashtag, no more D word. We're not using that word anymore. No, it's not a diamond, it's a rhombus. Get that in your head. And some of them were being twerpy and said, diamond. I said, do you want me to kick you out of here? There is no more D word, friend. Of course, I was joking and they knew it. But I'm like, seriously, I don't want you to get that in your head. You're going to get to the test and go, oh, crud, what is that thing called? Because if you tell yourself, even if you're being silly, if you tell yourself something wrong, you will have a hard time remembering the right way. I've done that myself, being silly with stuff. So I'm like, no. Erase it from your mind. The only diamond I want to hear you talking about is the kind in a ring. That's it. Yeah. Or sparkling like a diamond when you're doing some adjectives in your writing. That'd be awesome too. No more diamonds in math. None. All right. I'm going to show you my outfit. It started off very cold today. It was like 30 something. And then it's supposed to get to like 52, I do believe. So I just decided it's going to be spring. It's going to be spring because I said so. So I wore capris today because I just wanted to, and some flip-flops. I'm willing the spring to stay. Come and stay with us for a while. Yeah. We got our taxes done last night around 10. I was so happy. So I slapped the stamps on the envelopes and I handed them so reverently to my husband and said, here you go. And he goes, yes. And we high-fived each other. And he goes, run into the post office. I went, Godspeed. So he came back and he's like, I need to celebrate. I'm getting some chips. So he got out some chips. It's like 10:15 at this point. He was like, I'm celebrating. And I went, okay, because we really needed to go to bed. But it was like, after 3 straight nights of working on the darn things, we got them finished and sent in under the wire. We had 2 hours to spare before it was officially the next day, so we were good. Now let's just pray I did nothing wrong on the, the computations, and he did nothing wrong on his computations. We compared this year's to last year's. They were very close in the numbers, so I think we're good. Yeah. Never again. Hashtag never again. Yeah, we will not be doing that again. That was not a fun family activity. No, I don't recommend that for a date night. Doing taxes is not a good date night activity. No. But tonight I'm supposed to be getting in the mail Deep Blue Sea 2 on DVD from Amazon. Yes. So if you're a fan of shark movies like Jaws and things like that, you would like this movie. It's obviously a sequel because it's part 2. Deep Blue Sea was about a research facility that was stationed in the ocean, and they were doing like experimental gene therapy on sharks to try to figure out how to combat Alzheimer's. So they were stimulating these I don't think they're great whites, I think they're bull sharks. Anyway, they're taking the brains and stimulating and giving them different proteins and trying to make their brains larger and making them more intelligent. Well, the problem with that is when you make a very formidable killing machine also very smart, it's very hard to get away from them and survive. So that's what that whole movie's about. It's pretty good. And LL Cool J is in that movie, and he is really good in that movie. I'm not kidding. I mean, you go, oh yeah, it's a rapper. Yeah, but he's good. Well, you know, he made a career out of NCIS later after that. Yeah. So yeah, he's pretty dang good. Very entertaining. So Deep Blue Sea 2, they're doing something again with manipulating shark brains, which is what really, it was a bad idea the first time. It's a really super bad idea the second time. You know how the first time turned out, so why would you do it again? Yeah, so I'm excited. We're probably going to watch that tonight so we can celebrate not having to do any more tax stuff. Yeah, and I'm going to cook some Hawaiian chicken. Oh yeah, and I'll try to share that recipe with you because it's super simple. And I won't talk about it here because I don't remember what the recipe is. But basically, it's chicken breast and pineapple preserves and like Uncle Ben's wild rice mix and water and butter. And you throw it in a casserole, bake it, boom, baby, done, supper. Yeah. Let me show you what I'm wearing, and then I'm going to show you what we did for math because some of it I kind of got little clips of, but I wanted to show you like the big picture. So today I'm wearing, I've worn this several times now, I think, this short sleeve pink shirt because it's just really comfortable. And this little necklace and earring set came from Walmart's like 20 years ago. I'm not even kidding. I got this to go with like an Easter outfit a long time ago. I think before my daughter was even around. So that's how old it is. Yeah. And this little ring, I thought that'd be cute because it's the same shape. It came from Walmart as well. And like I said, I'm wearing flip-flops, capris, and I've got my trusty black sweater that tends to go with everything. Let me back up so you can see the whole thing. And I'll kind of give you a close-up of my leggings. I've worn these before. You'll recognize them from Easter time probably. And then I'll show you some stuff. Alrighty, let me show you. I've never worn these flip-flops this year, so I'll show you those too. Here are my leggings. Here are my flip-flops. Are those pretty? And I've had these for a while, so I'm not even sure where they came from. They might be Walmart. Sometimes they have some really super cute flip-flops at Walmart. Okay, let me show you some math that we did. So we did a lot today. Plus, we were supposed to have... Okay, the hair's already not behaving well. Stop it. We were supposed to have the firefighters come yesterday to read to our class, and then they never came, they never came, they never came. They came today. I'm like, so was that our mistake for day? Or was it their mistake for the day? I don't really know. So that was a surprise. I'm like, oh. You know, it's different when you know something's going to be out of whack and you can plan for it. But I was not prepared for them to be here today. So I was like, okay, friends, let's line up at the door. When we come back, we'll finish what we were doing. So that's what we did. And we rolled with it. I mean, we can make it work. But it's just like, It took some of our time, of course. Poor guy. His daughter's in the class that he went to. Because we partner up with our buddy teacher. So we went across the hallway over here. And his daughter chose Fox and Socks. Well, you know, if you've ever read Fox and Socks, that is not a simple book to read. And if you haven't looked at it for a while, it's really not a simple book to read. So he got tongue-tied several times over. I felt really bad for him, but he kept going. And he would go back and read it again. And I said, oh, look, didn't he just do what good readers do? Don't good readers go back and reread if it doesn't make sense? They're like, yeah. I said, didn't he use a great strategy? And they're like, yeah. And then later he did something else. And I said, oh, isn't that what good readers do? They persevere. They don't give up. You just keep going until you get it. And they go, yeah. So I try to use him kind of as a lesson to the kids that grown-ups do the same things. Yeah, we don't give up either. All right, so we're in the middle of 2D Shapes land this week and next week. So the first thing that I had the kiddos do was an attribute, basically color by how many sides something had, and they had the little code there. And for some reason, the circles totally threw them off. They're like, how do we color the circles? And I went, oh, well, does circles have sides? And they're like, no. I said, well, then what should we do? And they're like, I don't know. And I said, well, let's look at the title of the worksheet, color by sides. And what did the directions say? Color by the number of sides each shape has, use the key. Is there anything on there about no sides? And they're like, no. And I went, what do you suppose that would mean? And they're like, they were so confused. I felt bad, but I wanted them to try to work it out. Because we have really talked about how the circle is totally different than all of the other shapes. Circles and ovals have their own little club. They're the no sides club. And it's a good thing they have each other because they got no one else. They got nobody. I ain't got nobody. You know that? So the kids are like, oh, poor circle. I said, yeah, because I said that one day. Poor circle's all alone in the world. I said, except for the oval. Oval can be his friend. They can have the no sides club. And they're like, yeah. So I was trying to get them to think about that because we're coloring by number of sides. If something doesn't have a side, would you color it? Finally, I just said that. Well, if they don't have sides, would we color it? Yeah. I'm like, but it doesn't have sides. And we're coloring by sides. So would we color it? And they're like, no. I'm like, right. So it would just be white, right? It's already colored? Oh. A couple people colored it whatever color they just chose. And I said, what made you choose that color, friend? This color shows 4 sides. What made you decide that the circle would have 4 sides? Just curious. I wasn't like, why'd you do that? You're stupid. I wasn't doing that at all. I was trying to get their thinking, try to figure out what they were thinking. And they're like, I don't know. They just colored it something because they thought they needed to. It's okay. So after we talked about the no side thing, they're like, oh yeah, that does make sense. I'm like, yeah. Okay. So after we did that, then we had snack, which was a mixture of 2D and 3D shapes. I said, we're having a mixed up 2D and 3D shaped snack today. And they're like, yay. So because it was hodgepodge. It was like leftovers. Leftovers of the 2D shapes from yesterday, leftovers from the 3D shapes from last week. So they were super excited. They love all of those crackers and things that we have. And then I had them use pattern blocks because we did a lot of stuff with pattern blocks. The whole lesson was all about pattern blocks and how smaller shapes can make bigger shapes. So I actually gave them the pattern blocks to use. In the book, I think they just expected them to draw the pattern blocks on their papers. And I'm like, maybe in the teacher's manual it said to get pattern blocks. I forgot to look at that lesson more closely. I did read through them earlier, like last week when I was preparing for these lessons, but I kind of forgot what it said to do. So just logically, I got the pattern blocks out for them and grouped them in like 3s and 4s to share the big thing of pattern blocks. And I said, hey, how are you going to know how many of the triangles fit into a hexagon? How can you do that to figure it out? And they're like, look at it. I'm like, okay, but can you visualize in your head how many will fit? They're like, maybe with that one it'd be hard because it's really small shapes going in a big shape. What do you suppose we should do to make that work? And they're like, and I saw one little boy, and it's cool because sometimes when a student is low in language arts things, they're high in math things, and this is one of those cases. He's high in math things and not very high in reading things. So I just watched him. He took his hexagon and laid it on his paper. He took the triangles and laid the triangles on top of the hexagon and then counted them. And I said, oh, how many fit in there? He's like, 6. And I went, oh, that's awesome. That's a great way to do that. Good, nice problem solving, friend. I'm very proud of you. Great job. And I said, can I share that with the class? And he goes, because this is one of those kiddos that doesn't get to have shining moments like that very often. I wanted to really focus on that. So I shared what he did, and all the kids were like, oh, yeah, that's smart. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that too. So then he was just like, oh, he was floating the rest of the math time. It was lovely, very lovely to see. Okay, so then after we did our lesson, which, oh my gosh, then they had to draw. They were supposed to make the shapes and then draw them. And I said, guys, you know what you could do? You can take your pattern block and trace it with your pencil on your paper. That would be okay. It's really hard to free draw these, isn't it? Yeah, but even tracing was hard for some of them. I said, just do your best. It's okay. So we got through that. They had really had fun making their shapes with pattern blocks. And the kids were like, can we make our own shapes? Can we make our own shapes? I'm like, of course. When we finish with this, I'll let you make your own shapes for a little bit, and then we're going to build some shapes with food. And they're like, I mean, I'm the bomb.com today, man. I'm it. Yes. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see all the awesome shapes that we've made so far. We ran out of time because some of our math time was taken up with the firefighter reading, which that's okay. We can just roll with it. And I told them, just leave your stuff out and we'll continue after lunch. It's okay. All right. So we've made a triangle, a square, and a rectangle so far. And I would hear, oh, I broke my side. Because we have sides and vertices, you know, sides and vertices. I broke my side. I said, oh, you should eat the evidence. They're like, what? I said, yeah, if one of your sides breaks, eat the evidence and replace it with a new side. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, I know some of them probably broke their sides by accident on purpose, you know. I don't care. I have bags and bags of these. I'll give them more. It's not a big deal. So they had a great time. Every once in a while I would say, okay, grab a side and a vertice from your bowl and eat one of them. And they're like, yay! Because they're like, do we get to eat these when we're done? I'm like, yeah, of course we do. Yeah. So they will have a nice little treat when we come back from lunch today. I'll let them finish this for about, we'll probably work on it for just like another 5 minutes. There's some of the things I drew to try to help them. So this is tracing the one on the page that was projected. That's the hexagon from the page, and that's how the triangle's lined up. Now it looks like a cube when you look at it a certain way. Here's my feeble attempt at drawing the hexagon freehand. But I showed them, I said, Mrs. Bond doesn't make it perfectly. But you can recognize that that is a hexagon, can't you? They're like, yeah. I said, well, then that's good enough, right? It served its purpose. It's fine. We're not artists in here necessarily. Mrs. Bond certainly isn't. I really stress to them that I do not expect perfection from them. I do expect them to do their very best. And if their very best isn't quite getting it, then that is all I expect. Because we just need to practice some more. That is okay. Alrighty. Now, what are we doing coming up? The Deep Blue Sea 2 movie coming out this week was very coincidental for me because we're going to be learning about sharks today. So I will not recommend that movie to the kids because some of their parents might decide, hey, let's go get that. I don't want to traumatize children because they saw sharks eating people in a movie. We will be learning about sharks today. I told them yesterday. They were very, very excited. My new little girl was like, I don't like sharks. And I said, oh, we're just going to learn the cool things about sharks. She's like, sharks can eat people. I said, well, that's true. They can eat people, but they generally don't eat people because we don't taste very good to them. They would rather eat fish. So she felt a little better because of that. So I think I mentioned yesterday, there's a sharks leveled like reader on Reading A to Z, and it starts pretty high though. It starts like at a J. I want to say there's like a J and I don't know, an L and an N maybe. Like it's good for higher readers or bigger grades, higher grades than me. But that's why we're going to read it together. I'm just going to project it on the board. They have a projectable option. They also have a printable option, so that's pretty nice. When it's a little bit hard for most of the kids, I don't give them the actual book. We just read it together. And then I'm going to have them pick out cool facts as we read, and I can just mark it on the page as we go. And we'll just stop and write it down. That'll work out really well. And then I told you there's another Reading A to Z book that's called Is It a Fish? Or Is That a Fish? It's called Is That a Fish? And I'm mostly using that for the text features, but it also ties into our fish group, which is perfect. So they'll learn a little more information about what makes a fish, why is it classified as a fish, and I can also point out the nonfiction text features as we read, because I really feel like something like that, they need to see them. You know, I mean, it should not be an abstract thing. Oh, a table of contents, and you describe it to them. You should just show them and how you use it. That's what it's for, is to use, right? It's a tool in a book for you. Yep. And that'll pretty much be our day. We'll do our shark writing, and we'll have reading groups as always. And we'll read our fish book and pack up and go. Yep. And then after school, I get to go home. I don't think I have to do anything after school. I don't have any meetings or anything. Knock on fake wood. So it should be a pretty good day. The kids have been super excited about their shapes. It's really great. This chapter is just kind of fun. So I'm glad. Kids are like, how come these chapters are so easy? And the ones earlier in the year was so hard. And I said, well, part of it is because you have learned so much math up to now. So all of that stuff that you learned before is still in your brain, and you can build on that. Another thing is, shapes are not as hard as some of the things we did earlier, just to be honest. Like, the shapes I don't think are as difficult as adding to 20. They're just not. So, plus it lends itself to more fun stuff, I feel like. Yeah, because I'm trying to do lots of hands-on things with the kiddos. I did not get to the pattern block thing that we were going to do where they build, basically the Go Math lesson was a thing I was already going to do after, where they make shapes out of shapes. So I can just throw that in there later because they did a lot of that in their lesson today too. So I didn't feel bad that I didn't get to the thing that I was going to add on because they got to do that in their lesson as well. Yeah. My Power Hour group really, really enjoyed the spin a fraction game. They were just like loving it. Where I went around and showed that too earlier. You spin the spinner and whatever color it points to, that's the color pattern block you use, and you put that into your hexagon. And whoever ends up building all their hexagons first is the winner of that game. Well, I just had them play like 3-4 times till time was up. I had another game for them to play, and I thought, you know what? We don't have time to fully play the other game, so we might as well just do the one we have out and let them play it again and again because they're loving it anyway. And they're keeping score. They're like, he won once and I won once. I'm like, ooh, tiebreaker. And they're like, ooh, tiebreaker. It was just funny. I'm like, the things that they get excited about are really cool. Sometimes you're like, wow, this is just going to be a dud of a lesson. This is going to be such a bummer. And they'll surprise you and be like, this was so cool. And you're like, yeah, awesome. And in the back of your mind, you're going, really? I did not like it at all. Or sometimes it goes the other way. But thankfully, most of the time it goes the good way. Sometimes you think, this is so cool, it's awesome. And then just goes, pfft. We've all had lessons like that, haven't we? Mm-hmm. But you learn from it and you move on. You go, whoop, checking that. Not going to do that one again. Or you go, that needs to have this kind of a class to do it with. Because honestly, every year is different. And you can't just do the same thing every year because you have to do what you need to do for those students, not for last year's students or 10 years ago students. Yeah. Got to do what's right for the kids you've got now. And sometimes you just got to start from scratch for some things because you got totally different personalities and you got to make it work. Yep, and that's what's like being a teacher. You got to roll with it. I am going to get out of this room for a few minutes and get some copies made and get ready for lunch in a little bit. I'll try to check back in with you later and let you know how things have gone. So I'll see you then. Hi, it's the end of the day. The kids have all been dismissed. It's time to go, but I thought I would recap our day. We were able to read most of the shark book before it was time to go to recess. And then after recess, they packed, and then we read through most of the Is That a Fish book before my readers had to leave. And then I finished it with the rest of the class, and we talked about the nonfiction text features that we saw, what they were for, what we could use them for. We even used the index. That's the first one I found that had an index, and we used the index to look things up. I said, oh, what if we wanted to know about this? Where would we look? And they're like, oh, we look on page 8. I'm like, okay, let's go on page 8 and see what that says. And I talked about how when you're looking for information about something, instead of looking through a giant book trying to find the information, you can go to the index and see if it's even in there. So if you're doing a report on great white sharks and you find a book about sea creatures, you can look at the index to see if there is any information about great white sharks in that book because it should be listed in the index, which is pretty helpful. I told them the main difference between a table of contents and an index is a table of contents basically tells you chapters, like the general part of this chapter is this, the general part of this chapter is this, the main idea. But if you want something specific, like a specific page number where something can be found, like a picture of a shark, look in the index. It will show you exactly what page to look on or pages, because there might be several pages about sharks. Now, you might have a book that has an entire chapter about sharks, and that would be in the table of contents and the index most likely. And they're like, oh, that's really cool. I said, yeah. Like in this book, it was like 12 pages. It wouldn't have been any big deal to flip through it. But if they had like a 500-page book on ocean animals, who wants to sit there and look through every single page looking for one specific animal? That would be really hard and long. So they're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So they're going to be doing their own report very soon, and they're getting very excited. I have found all kinds of animal books when I've been looking through my books that I have. And I also changed my books, finally, in this little section here. Until recess time, it had Dr. Seuss in it still. And so I've changed it to just animals. And then I put my little creatures down here, like ones we've talked about. Some of these you'll recognize that I got from my book order, like these two, and this one. Came from the book order just recently. And then I have my big guys up here because they don't fit down there very well. Got my penguins that we've done a report on, and then my pink penguin that I never put the reports out about. Feel bad. And then our sea turtle and our cute little slothie. Yeah, so they're just sitting up here chilling out. Yeah, I've been collecting all of their writing though. I've been putting all of their writing things in one of the bins in the easel so I can keep it all together, so I can put together a writing portfolio for them. So that way I won't lose it all. That's the plan. Okay, I am ready to go. So I'm just going to take off. I realized that the Seahorse thing that I wanted to do tomorrow, I don't have the Scholastic News on that. I don't have the paper. I don't know if we didn't have it that year or if I already used it. So it's fine though, because I can use it online and it's perfectly fine. The kids just won't have their own copy of it, which is okay. I've got the little comprehension pages already ready to go. I've got a fiction and nonfiction. And you compare and contrast it with Mr. Seahorse. So that ought to be good. And I'll see if there's something else to do with that, because I thought there was another page. So I'll see. This goes with the rainbow fish. I guess I printed that twice because I do stuff like that. Anyway, that's okay. All right, I'm going to go home and hopefully my package has arrived, plus some of my special things from a special room transformation coming soon. I'll be telling you all about that. It'll be in May, which is coming up very quickly. Yeah. Hope it works out, because I haven't said anything to the kids because I know not to disappoint them. Yeah. All right, I'm going to get my stuff together and get out of here, and I will see you in the morning.
I can't do it so long.
Walk in place while sliding your feet backward. Crouch down low, then swing up with all your might. This is the space age song, so move and sing along.
Take your money. You stole fucking snack. The first time I started running,
He said to go get one if you haven't gotten one, sweetheart. Yep, you can go ahead and go. Okay, start building, buddy. See what you're doing. That looks cool. Ooh, that looks awesome.
I still have some left over.
That's okay. I don't think it's going to fit exactly. You need to do it on the shape. On the shape. Okay, start making your shape, sweetie. See what fits in there. See what we got over here. Ew, looking good.
Oh God! Why did our teachers teach us to say the G word instead of roundbus? Why did our teachers tell us to say the G word instead of roundbus?
Did your teacher teach you dynamic last year?
Yeah, my teacher taught me.
Because they didn't read their math book, I guess. I don't know, but you need to know rhombus for your shape for that.
Rombity dom.
Rhombity rhombus. Rumbly rhombus. I have a special thing we get to make next week. It involves one of my favorite things.
I did it. Wait.
It could be.
Look, Miss. Guess what?
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Glad to say that it's Thursday. Today started out great, and then I got some not so great news. So I'm not sure if I'm going to vlog very much today, because honestly I just don't really feel very chatty. So One of my former students from last year was involved in a house fire last night, and he and his 3 siblings all died. So a lot of us are kind of reeling from the news because the oldest was 14, and then my former student was 8. He was a 2nd grader this year, and then he had 2 preschool age siblings. The parents were not home when it happened, so I can't even imagine. Can't imagine what they're going through right now. They've lost all of their children, just like that. Everyone at school that knew any of these students is just kind of in a daze. My kiddos didn't know this friend unless they rode the bus with him. I got the news from another teacher this morning when I had morning room, and a lot of my students were in here then, and I said, "Oh, what's wrong?" And I told them what happened, and they said, "Oh, that's so sad. That wasn't a very long life." And I said, "No, it wasn't a very long life at all." Yeah, and so one of my friends said, "Maybe you could go to his celebration of life ceremony and bring some flowers." And I said, "That's a great idea." So today's kind of subdued because of that. This was a little boy that always had a smile on his face. And he always had a hug for me, even this year. Anytime he would see me in the hallway, he would sneak out of his line and give me a quick little squeeze and then get back in his line. He was a sweetheart. And so I ask that you pray for this poor family that's having to go through this terrible loss. And please keep our teachers and our students in your prayers as well, because he was friends with everyone. He was a very, very friendly boy, and he made friends with everyone, so a lot of people are affected by this loss. I appreciate your prayers, and I'll talk to you later. Hi. I thought I would try a little different angle in my room because I just didn't feel like doing the same old thing today. So I'm feeling a little bit better, trying not to think about things, just trying to keep myself busy because there's always plenty to do. And if I can just keep going, I don't have time to dwell on things. So I thought I'd go ahead and show you what I'm wearing because I wanted to show off my awesome pineapple earrings from the awesome Lynn Daniels from the Body Zone. Yes, I'm finally rocking those today because I have a special shirt on today that goes with some new leggings. And I'll show you in just a moment. After I show you my outfits, I'm going to need to check a lot of assessments and put them in the enrichment and intervention grid so that we'll be ready to talk about moving the kids tomorrow for Monday's groups. All right, so here goes. I'm wearing this special shirt that has something special on it. In a moment, I'll show you. Got a little sweater thing on. I've got a chameleon ring with this insert in it, and of course my nails still are doing pretty good. I have my special Alex Nanny pineapple bracelet. There's a clue. And then the little bracelet one of my little friends gave me when they came into school this year. And then I'll show you the rest of it when I stand up. So here is what I'm wearing. Pineapple! Yeah. Okay, so there's the pineapple shirt. And then here's my leggings. Are they cute? I will back up and see how this goes. Here's the whole thing. These are capris. Can't really see the whole thing, but it's pretty close. Here's, as Paul Harvey would say, here is the rest of the story. And here are my cute little flip-flops. Kind of cute. So I'm just willing nicer weather to come. Here's a shot of my desk. I have 3 separate piles of tests. Yes, I do. I have sorted them into these students need to learn how to recognize coins. These students need to learn the value of the coins. These students know everything they need to learn how to count coins. And then I just need to plug them into this grid that I have redone for tomorrow. For our meeting after school, we have our PLC meeting. So that's what I'm going to do. It is lunchtime. But I made cinnamon rolls this morning. I was a good mama. And I made cinnamon rolls. When I say I made cinnamon rolls, I mean I popped open a can and I baked cinnamon rolls. Because ain't nobody got time to make cinnamon rolls in the morning unless you get up at the crack of dawn, which I already do. So I wasn't going to get up even earlier than that. But I was also going to do scrambled eggs, but we ran out of time. Because, you know, it's Thursday and it's getting harder and harder to wake up every day. We'll have the scrambled eggs tomorrow. It'll be good. My daughter is chomping at the bit to go to a produce and nursery place just right outside of where we live. She sent me a map and said it's only like 16 miles away from our house or something. And I'm like, and she wants to go after school. I'm like, we'll see. I mean, you could do that Saturday with your dad. That'd be okay. But she's wanting to get some kind of special plant that she's been looking for and hoping that they have it. So maybe we'll go and I'll just take a little drive with her and that'll be nice. So we'll see. And if we go, I'll probably just take you along so you can see what they have, because it'll be interesting to see what they have. I don't know. All right, I'm going to get to work and try to get myself together. I have printed my lesson plans for the next 2 weeks. Now, granted, next week is done. The following week is done as much as it can be, because this is Power Hour. And these are my extended learning activities to go with my math. And I have to think about those. But I already know what lessons I'm doing and the assessment that I'm doing. So I know what animal I'm doing, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to try to get at least next week's things started printing so I can have that done. You know what? I was such a goober. So I'm so used to not having things done much ahead anymore because there's so much to do that I did not realize I had already printed some things. So when I was cleaning my countertop back here, I found some things. So I printed them twice. So if I can save it for next year, if I know for sure that I'll use it next year, I stuck it in one of my drawers over there. If I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be doing this again, then I put it in the free drawing paper, like recycle pile. And if it was a two-sided thing, then I just recycled it. But I hate to get rid of copies like that because I just wasted paper. I was able to use all of it, thankfully, because mostly it was the Scholastic papers that I was going to do, and I'm going to do them next year too. And then the spelling, when I can just use that for a different list. It'll be fine because they weren't, I don't think it had specific things on it. It was just a blank fill in these things. So I can use it again. So I don't think I even wasted anything like that. So yay. Alrighty, I'm going to get to my piles here and get rid of my piles so I can move on to different piles. I'll try to check back in with you later and let you know how things are going. I made it through the day. We read about sharks. The kids chose 6 shark facts that were interesting to them out of that passage that we had. And then they wrote in their own words on their fact page the 6 facts that they chose. And then everyone got that done and turned it in. So I've got that. And what else did we do? We read about seahorses and how the dads carry the eggs and then the eggs hatch out of the dad and they have babies. And we learned more about seahorses. And then we also watched part of Mr. Seahorse, which is a story by Eric Carle, because we are comparing fiction and nonfiction. And we're trying to determine how we know if something is fiction or nonfiction. What are some clues that will give us the idea of one or the other? They're really good at it. We did a comprehension page to go along with our Seahorse Dad's Scholastic News article. And tomorrow we will finish with the fiction versus nonfiction because my readers had to go to reading. I lose 3 kids in the afternoon to go to a special reading class. And so I didn't want to do it without them. So we're going to be doing the comparing the fiction to nonfiction with Mr. Seahorse versus Seahorse Dads. So that will be good. I've printed out my tracking sheet for all of my grade card skills for this quarter. I'm looking at my grade card so that I can make sure I've got them all in there. I think I'm just going to take it home mostly because I can't even concentrate on it. My incubator over here does not stay running all the time, so I'm a little worried that it's not going to keep my eggs warm at 99 degrees like it's supposed to because the little light fluctuates and then you don't hear the fan running anymore. And I'm like, and the temperature dropped to like 80. And I don't know if one of the kids bumped it or knocked into it or messed with it. I told them not to, and I explained why. But I'm trying to get the temperature regulated so that we'll be ready for the eggs on Monday. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm just sitting here filling out bucket filler notes for my kiddos, because I've been meaning to do this for a very long time, and I just seem to be busy all the time. There's always something to do, but I'm going to take these home if I have to and fill one out for every child and put them in their cubbies so they can find them when they come in, so they know how special they are to me. Because if nothing else, the death of my former student has taught me to never waste a minute. Yep. I'm going to finish these, and I'm going to go home and relax with my family and enjoy them. So I will talk to you in the morning. Hello, my kids are at recess, and it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. Oh my goodness, this week, I tell you, it's, it's just the end of the day, wackies. But then we had some really rough stuff going on, as you know from yesterday's vlog, and it got worse. And I can't really go into that situation, but just it involves an inappropriateness of a teacher with students, and it's a bad deal. So that's a rough situation that our district is dealing with as well. So please, if you are a praying person, please keep us in your thoughts and prayers, because there's just a lot going on right now. Lots and lots and lots of situations that we have no control over, and it's just very stressful. So kind of think about our kiddos in the district, all the way down from preschool up to high school, and the staff and the faculty. Please just kind of say a quick little prayer of strength for us so we can get through to the end of the year, because this has been really trying us. So we're trying to just keep on keeping on for the kids, because that's why we're here. All right, I thought I'd just show you my outfit. I just have been running around like a loon all day long. Fridays are kind of like that anyway, but today was like extra loony for some reason. Just, I don't know. I decided with all the things that are going on, we just weren't even going to do a spelling test. I kind of scrapped my lesson plans basically completely. We did the shark strategy game, and I didn't even get any footage of that because I just didn't have a chance to pick the camera up, but I can show you the parts of it because it was really fun and cute. Yeah, so we talked about how we can help the earth, because Earth Day is Sunday, and I kind of spaced off that whole thing and didn't even think about doing stuff for that till yesterday. So instead of doing that coding activity with the honeybees, we did talking about what we can do to help the earth as kids. Even kids can help, and the things we can do to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and be more earth conscious with our choices of things that we do and what we play with and just how we live. And then they wrote 3 ways that they can help the earth, and they got to color in earth, and that's in the hallway. And I'll give you a little zip through of that so you can see the awesomeness that my kids made. They did a great job with it, and they had great ideas. What else did we do? We had a birthday celebration, so that was super cool. I think I got a little bit of footage of that when they were working on their book. They always write, well, now we're to the point where they write 3 sentences about why they're glad that person is in our class. So it kind of builds them up. Before I left school yesterday, I think I mentioned I was going to do bucket filler notes for all my kids. I did. I got them all done, and I left them all in the kids' cubby, so that was the first thing they saw when they went to put their things away. And the kids were like, "Oh, thank you." And I said, "You're welcome. I just want you to know how special you are to me." They really thought that was awesome. So I'm hoping that they can take that home and just reread it and just know that their teacher loves them. I need to do that more often. I just kind of dropped the ball on that whole bucket filler thing. And I meant to have them fill each other's buckets today too, and I just didn't get it done. There's always Monday, I suppose. We'll do our best. Yeah. So let me show you my outfit. If I can get through the wonky desks. And then I still haven't glued these down to the mat, so I don't even know if it's going to get done this year. I don't know. I have no idea. So everything else always takes priority over it. Okay, I'm wearing a kind of a bright pink tee with a little black undershirt. It's a little chilly today. It's like 59 now, but this morning was like 38 or something. It was kind of cold. I have a little light sweatery thing. I have some leggings and some flip-flops. I've got my chameleon ring with these little hoops. And I just kind of went light on the jewelry because it's Friday, and I'm just happy to be here. So I'll back up so you can see the thing, and I'll zip through the classroom and show you what we did. I'm sure you've pretty much seen all the components of this outfit before in different ways. My shoes, I don't think I've worn them before this year, but the rest of it you've seen in, with different combinations. But here are my pants. I'm positive I wore these around Easter time because they remind me of Easter eggs, the Ziggy Zags. And then I've worn this shirt before, I know. And I think I've worn this before with something. Anyway, yeah, I was going to show you the Sharky things. One of my sweet little girls was like, I can put these back together for you. I said, that'd be great. So she hooked him on the binder ring. She's like, I know how to do these. We do them in Girl Scouts. I went, sweet, I'd love for you to do that. Here's the little shark game, Shark Bite. And this is clip art from Jen Hart Designs. And I want to say, she's got a lot of free clip art. That might have been free. I don't even know. But she has really cute stuff. Jen Hart, H-A-R-T Designs on TpT. And yes, I will link it below. Yes, I will. And we used, if you saw my Oriental Trading haul, you saw these already. I don't know if I can get the Ziploc open. Hold on. Okay. You would have seen these little sharkies. Aren't they cute? I'm getting the light here. They're so cute. There are, I'll show you the bag. My colors. Yeah, we even have pineapple sharks. Yep. Okay, and inside, wait for it, wait for it. Yes, these are eggs. Hot fish. So they picked up, 1, 2, or 3 fish off their strategy board and they fed their shark. And I really should have, one kid was like, I'm like, why don't you just lay that down? He's like, I'm feeding the shark. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So next time we play it, I'll be like, yeah, you can feed your shark. Like once it's full, whoever took the last one is the winner. Like I didn't even think about that, but see, they come up with great ideas. But these are, I'll warn you, these are kind of flimsy. The eggs are not real thick. So I told my kids, be really, really gentle when you're closing these because they are very thin and kind of fragile. And if they break, we just won't have any more because I can't get any more of these. And they're like, oh, okay. And they did a great job. They were really awesome with it. I was proud of them. Okay, my desk is looking a hot mess again. Look at this. Looking a little hairy scary because I'm stacking again. Yes, because I'm getting stuff ready for next week. I printed out a black and white copy of my plans so that I can check off what I've printed and what I need to print and stuff. So I've got like a little code, P for printed and C for copied. And then, of course, I need to cut books apart and stuff. But, yeah. This incubator over here is making me worried. See? This little dude here. It keeps shutting off. And then my partner teacher was like, oh, yeah, it does that. I said, yeah, but is it not supposed to get down to 80 degrees? And she's like, oh, no, that's not good. So it goes all the way up to 110. Then it'll drop all the way down to 80. Well, that will kill our chicks. For sure. No doubt. Guaranteed death for the chicks inside their eggs. So thankfully, we're not getting them on Monday. I went in to see my partner teacher today. And she said to me, I can't do math. So we actually have 10 more days before they hatch. And I went, oh, okay. Because she was thinking they would hatch on Tuesday. She's like, no, we have 10 more days. I'm like, oh, okay, that's actually good. Because I'll have time to regulate my stinking incubator or we can get a new one by then. Yeah. So I said, that works great for me. I said, I'm not going to change my lesson plans. We're going to go ahead and learn about chicks ahead of time. And then they will know what to expect. So originally, I was going to do a different animal group next week, but when I realized the chick eggs were coming, I switched it to the bird group. We were going to do amphibians next, and I'm like, I'm just going to leave it at birds. We'll learn about birds. We'll learn about chicks, because it goes along with birds, and we'll be ready. And I can even do more chick stuff, a little bit here and there. So I even put out some chick listening station things. So we've got Hansel and Gretel Ninja Chicks, and then there's Chicken Dance is the other one. I don't have the little papers printed for this, which is why I brought the CD over. Plus, apparently I'd never used it before because I just had to split this open. So this was fairly new. So I just need to find, it's time to get the kids recess already. Nah, this day just goes, don't blink, it's over. I've got science, I've got math, I've got reading, I've got just everything everywhere. Yeah, so making a pile. We're going to finish this from yesterday where we're comparing the fiction and the nonfiction about seahorses. We got half of the story listened to. We already did this part with the Scholastic News, but we need to do this part still. So we're going to listen to the rest of Mr. Seahorse. That was an Eric Carle book that I found on YouTube. Yes, I'll link it below for you. Anything I can, I will always link below. And if I didn't, please ask me. if I didn't link it below, I either forgot or it wasn't able to be linked. So, you know, please comment and say, hey, I didn't find a link to this. I'll be like, oh, sorry. And I'll stick it on there because there's just so much to keep track of. I just can't. So thanks for helping me out with that. I appreciate it. That'll be the rest of our day. The kids have already packed. We'll come in from recess. We'll get a drink, use the restroom, come in here. We will finish this little story. I'll give them the little markers, and I don't even think I'll worry about getting clipboards out because really it's not that much to mark. They just feel gonna be done. And then we'll do some go noodling and just go noodle ourselves out to the hallway to go home. And then we'll have our PLC meeting. And then, I don't know, schlep my way home and just collapse on the couch probably. This week has been super exhausting for many reasons. Our administration came around today though with a donut cart and a juice cart. And as I was taking my kids out of the room to take them to library, my AP said, hey, would you pick a donut real quick before you leave and I'll leave it on your desk? And I went, sure. So I'm like, I'll just take a glazed. He's like, okay, and juice. You want juice? And I said, sure. He goes, pulp or no pulp? I went, no pulp all the way, thanks. He goes, I'll leave it on your desk. I said, thank you. And the cool thing was, not that it really matters because whatever, this was laid on my desk. So he knew that I was planned ahead. Kind of cool. He knows I'm a planner. Everybody knows I'm a planner. I'm like uber planner. Yeah. When anybody wants to know what's coming up, they always ask me, what are we doing in math in 2 weeks? Well, we're doing this. And they're like, okay. Yeah. I scared one of my co-teachers the other day. I said at lunch, I said, where are you in math? And she's like, I'm getting ready. I said, are you doing 2D shapes in math? And she goes, I'm getting ready to test 3D shapes. Am I behind? And I went, no. I said, I'm ahead. I was just wondering where everybody else was. She's like, okay. She started to get worried because she wasn't on pacing or something. I'm like, no, you're good. You are where you should be. You're fine. I was just trying to think ahead because of our power hour groups are not going to end till May 10th. So I was trying to think of what skills we could keep working on because they've pretty much got everything to this point. There are a few that are a little behind on some things. So I'm grabbing my keys so I can get my kids from recess. And we can work on that. But I'm looking ahead going, okay, well, we've already done fractions. So all that's left is 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes. And then anything that if they still didn't get the graphing or if they still didn't get the fractions, we can throw that in there. So the enrichment kids, we're going to be doing a lot with money. Money is not even in our Go With Math book, and it is a Missouri learning standard. They're supposed to ID coins and know their values. And that's not in our Go Math at all because it's not a Common Core standard in first grade. It's a Missouri learning standard. So we're not a Common Core state. But Go Math is Common Core. So it's not in there. So I said, oh, guys, I was looking at our Missouri learning standards, and we've been hitting them all for math but this one. So we need to throw it in because we're not going to have time to teach it with our Go Math curriculum. And they're like, okay, yeah, that'd be great. So let's throw that into Power Hour. And they're like, that's perfect. I'm like, yeah, because we're running out of ideas anyway. So it's perfect to throw that in at the end. And that should be pretty easy to teach them that. Okay, I'm going to take my rambly, tired, whirlwind self, grab the kids from recess, and finish out our day. I'll try to check back in with you later. Hi, as you can see, I am home. I think the one and only time I talked to you today was like when my kids are at recess today. I don't even know. I think so. Because the day just went bloop and it was gone. And then after school I had that meeting. And it turns out we didn't actually have to have a meeting. But because since it's been a rough couple days, the administration told us we could either meet as a team if we wanted to, or we could just work in our classrooms. And we were like, well, we need to meet to talk about what we're going to do for our remediation and enrichment for math next week. But other than that, we could work in our rooms. But then meeting to do that just took longer than it should have, just for whatever reason. And so there wasn't a lot of time to work in our classrooms, but I was able to get a few things ready for next week. Not everything, not even close to everything. I tried, but it wasn't working out. And then at lunchtime, we met as a first grade team just to kind of support each other and just to have like a little kind of a bonding session for lunch. And I ended up being really late to it because of a student who was gone today. And then there was some question as to where he was. We weren't sure where he was. So we were checking on him. So I went to check to find out what the office had found out because the secretary had buzzed down and said, hey, when you get a chance, come talk to me. I'll let you know the situation. And I was like, okay, great. Thank you. And then, yeah, the day just went on and I don't know, it was just gone. The day was just gone. Yeah. Oh, and I did not get to show you the Earth Day. I didn't get to show you the Earth Day writing at all because I got interrupted and had to go get the kids from recess. And there was no time to show you after. So I'll try to make sure and do that on Monday because they turned out pretty cute. It's from a packet that I made. So it's available on in my TpT Store. And I can link it below for you. It's just a writing paper and it says, I can help the earth. And it's, it says bye. And then they just write something on the writing lines. And there's an earth they can color and they cut out. And I just stuck it to the side a little bit so they could clip the paper onto their little clippy thing in the hallway. So it turned out good. The little earths are kind of starting to fall over a little bit, but I'm not sure I want to really tack them onto the bulletin board with the tack. I might just put a little bit of tape or something. I don't know. I'll figure something out. That was not one of my biggest concerns today. I was just trying to get through the day, honestly. Yeah, we had 2 students gone, which is weird. So, yeah. Played that shark game, and I think I got to show you that if I remember right, because it's been hours for me since I was on the camera, so I'm not really sure exactly what I showed you. I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure I showed you the shark. Yeah, I remember showing you the eggs and stuff. Yeah. So obviously I'm very tired because I'm kind of just rambling. All right, so after school, I was getting stuff done, trying to get things ready at least for Monday, like the whole day of Monday, and I just keep putting so much in that it's really hard to get it all prepared ahead of time. But I got to keep these little squirrels busy, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing the coin recognition group, which is the lowest group that we have this week. So I've got 12, possibly 13 children in my group that I'll be making sure they recognize penny, nickel, dime, and quarter. So I'm going to do pennies and nickels on Monday, and then I'm going to do dimes on Tuesday. I'm going to do quarters on Wednesday, and then Thursday we will assess and see if they've got it, because they really should. This is a kindergarten skill. I don't know why we have so many that can't do it, but I think it's just because there's been such a big time span since they talked about it before, because there is no money in our Go Math resource. I mentioned that earlier too. Yeah, so a lot of us supplement with like morning work, like the morning work pages that I do, there is money on there now, but we're only on like page, I don't know, 11 or something. So they've only done it for, a couple weeks. So those that weren't real sure about their money, it really isn't sticking very well. Even though I have written on the board, penny, nickel, dime, quarter, and I have the magnetic money, and I have what it's called, and I have how much it's worth. I put up some little mini posters today before I left, so we could refer to those as well. So we'll see how that goes for them too. Some of them might need to get their name tags out because the name tags have the money on them. Yes. So we'll see if that will help them remember too. And I think I'll have them make like a money book, because when you have to work with it and see it and sort it out, it helps you remember. The thing that we're going to do on Monday for the pennies and nickels is I have some like coin books, and they're shaped like the coins, but I cannot find them. Like I looked in my math drawer that was about money, and then I looked in my math tub thing, like those latch boxes that I have the different skills in, and I couldn't find them in there either. And I'm like, what did I do with those? Those should have been put back in the right places. So, I'm not sure. I have one other idea, because I know that when I used them last year, I would have put them on the tray, like the little tray of the board. So maybe they somehow got behind stuff, because I don't have to put all that stuff away in the summer. They didn't use my classroom last year, so it might have been left out behind some stuff. I don't know. Or in one of those little things. I don't know. I'll look and see if I can find them. I'm hoping I can find them on Monday. If not, I'll just find some YouTube videos. That'll be fine. I have lots of stuff on YouTube about coins, and I know Jack Hartman has several different songs about coins, so that would be okay to do that. So my partner Para and I are going to be teaching this little section the same. She'll have the same materials I'm using because I do the planning for both of us. That'll be good. There are 4 of us doing this little group next week, so each of us have between 12 and 14 students. We have several people that need to learn their coins to be able to identify them. And then we also have a group that's going to be telling the value of the coins. And then, of course, we're going to talk about that in our ID group too, because they should just know that too. Then we have a group that's counting like coins to $1, so like 10 dimes or 4 quarters or whatever. And then we have a group that's going to be counting mixed coins to $1. And then we're going to have a really high group that's going to be counting, I think it's like showing money amounts or something like that. Like they're given a money amount and they have to make the money for it. So like if you say, show me 49 cents, they have to like show you the coins that would make 49 cents. That's a 2nd grade standard. So that's a good thing for them to shoot for. Okay, I think I'm just going to wrap this up because I'm really, really tired. And it is like 5:45. My husband is on his way to get pizza for us tonight. We'll probably find a movie on Netflix or something. And I'm going to jump into my pajamas and just chill out on the couch and probably fall asleep because I am just really droopy all of a sudden. Just sitting down, I'm like, wow, I'm just really tired. Yeah. Oh, and I got a little bit of footage of the nursery that my daughter and I went to right after school. She's like, please, can we go there? I'm like, let's just go. So we went. And it was really cool. They had basically a whole greenhouse full of succulents. So all of you succulent lovers, you would have been in, succulent heaven. Yes. So I hope you enjoy the footage that I'm going to show you. Oh, you can hear the donkey braying outside across from us. Well, maybe you can't, but I could. Mittens thinks she needs a spoil of tea. I think I need a spoil of tea as well. Okay. Yes. I hope you had a wonderful week. And I hope that you have a great, relaxing weekend with family and friends. Please be sure to tell those that you love how much you care about them because you never know what tomorrow will bring. I will see you on Monday. Bye.